Hey folks, I'm Chris and I'm your Commander Mechanic. Recently I did a build stream over on Twitch with chat. If you want to join in on these build streams and help put together a deck, be sure to follow me at twitch.tv/commandermechanic. In our most recent brew stream, we took a look at the new Sultai color identity legend out of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, Tatsunari Toad Rider. Despite requiring just black mana to cast, Tatsunari has an activated ability that makes him Sultai. Let's take a look. A 3-mana 3/3 human ninja, Tatsunari reads, whenever you cast an enchantment spell, if you don't have a Kaimi token, create a legendary 3/3 black and green frog creature named Kaimi with, whenever you cast an enchantment spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. For 1 and either a green or a blue, both Tatsunari and a frog you control leap into the air, being able to be blocked only by creatures with flying or reach. That is, a lot of text on a creature. It also gives us a whole bunch of potential avenues to build around. Do we go Frog Tribal to take advantage of that evasion? Do we go Aristocrats to take advantage of making a 3/3 when casting an enchantment? Or do we go Enchantress to take advantage of the enchantment synergies? We were all excited by the prospects for a Sultai enchantment-oriented legend, as we really don't have one yet. I did a Sultai Enchantress build a while ago with Muldrotha the Gravetide at the helm, but that's a far cry from a dedicated Sultai-colored Enchantress deck. An Enchantress deck is a deck that takes advantage of enchantments, through on-cast effects or enter the battlefield effects, as there are a lot of ways to draw cards, destroy creatures, or gain life when playing enchantments. These decks are all typically high synergy decks, my favorite kind, and rely on chaining spellcasts or creating small loops to generate accelerated value. The reason Tatsunari is so appealing as an Enchantress commander is that he's a win con in the command zone, or more specifically, Kaimi is a win con in the command zone. The ability to drain the table when casting an enchantment is huge, and having access to it at all times means we can focus on moving parts and not need to worry about how to close out the game. On top of that, Tatsunari himself is a great potential way to win via commander damage thanks to getting kind of flying. It's easy enough to have flying basically be unblockable in most games of Commander. So, altogether, chat and I settled on Sultai Enchantress as a theme for the deck. But how are we going to build it? Let's start with Enchantress pieces. These are going to be our payoffs for casting enchantments. All of our Enchantress effects are going to be beneficial to us, but in different ways. Card draw is a big aspect of this. Classics like Enchantress's Presence, Eidolon of Blossoms, and Argothian Enchantress are staples of this. With even one of these effects out, we can be chaining spellcasts and refilling our hand in no time. There's also effects that pump our team here too. The new Generous Visitor putting +1/+1 counters on creatures, Strength from the Fallen giving significant temporary power boosts, and Nylea's Colossus at the top end of our curve helping to double the power and toughness of our commander, making wins via commander damage that much easier. The last type of Enchantress effect comes from our black pieces. Doomwake Giant shrinking all opponents' creatures, Blightcaster acting as spot removal on cast, and Grim Guardian functioning as redundancy for our Kaimi token, and helping to drain the table when enchantments enter the battlefield. That's our synergy. These pieces are going to care about the rest of the deck. And when I say the rest of the deck, I mean the rest of the deck. We've got a mind-boggling 38 non-creature enchantments in this deck, all typically very low to the ground, and all focused at chaining beneficial effects, machine gunning down the table. We are not going to be lacking ammunition, that's for certain. We've ensured all of our nuts and bolts of the deck are on enchantments as well to help with this theme. Our ramp is in enchantment form on Wild Growth, Ordeal of Nylea, or Utopia Sprawl, to ensure even late game, these maybe unnecessary ramp pieces can be draining the table or drawing us a few cards. Our removal is in enchantment form on Kenris Transformation, Frogify, and Imprisoned in the Moon. While we'll be casting all of these at sorcery speed rather than instant speed, it means we aren't going to be lacking for single target removal. Our creature protection is enchantment form as well, with Asceticism, and on Umbras like Boar Umbra and Bear Umbra. These ensure if there's a board wipe, we're losing one aura rather than a creature suited up with several enchantments. We have even more card draw on enchantments too, like Curiosity, Snake Umbra, and Sixth Sense. These small auras help us refill our hand and ensure that even if we lose some auras to removal or a board wipe, we won't be lacking for cards to rebound with. And our win cons are an enchantment form too. Ancestral Mask is a big one, and can easily turn Tatsunari into lethal commander damage by granting us +2/+2 for each enchantment in play, ours and our opponents. Blanchwood Armor is a big player here as well, giving an enchanted creature +1/+1 for each forest we control. But with a Yavimaya Cradle of Growth in the deck, this can easily be +1/+1 for each land we control. The only non-creature, non-enchantment cards in the deck are a handful of artifacts that help our plan along as well. Big players like Helm of the Gods and Nettlecyst, for instance. While they may not be enchantments, they care about enchantments, and help get our commander to a level where we could be threatening winning via commander damage. We also have some combo pieces. Yes, that's right. Even in a deck like this, we have some combos. Come on, you'd expect me not to build in some ways to win outside of commander damage? You should know me better than that by now. Let's take a look at a few of the combo lines. First, we have Phyrexian Altar. Our commander making a creature on cast of an enchantment means that with the altar, we can essentially refund 1 mana of any color on cast. We can pair that with Cloudstone Curio, which can bounce permanents that share types on enters the battlefield. This way, with 2 1-mana enchantments, our commander, Curio, and Altar, we can essentially infinitely cast, getting an infinite storm count and triggering all of our enchantress effects as many times as we want. We don't need the Curio in some instances. There are a pair of auras in the deck, Whip Silk and Shimmer Wings, that bounce themselves for extra mana. We could pair this with Shark Typhoon, which makes us a body when we cast a non-creature spell, ensuring we can sacrifice the shark and our Kaimi to the altar for enough mana to bounce and recast these 2 auras, netting us even on mana, but infinite enchantment casts. Now, both the altar and Curio are not inexpensive pieces, so I've ensured there's a line in here that's cheap, efficient, and on theme. With the new Sanctum Weaver out of Modern Horizons 2, we have a Sarah's Sanctum on a body in green. This mana dork is capable of making a magnitude of mana in a deck packed with enchantments, and when you're in green and blue and have a body that can make multiple mana, well, there's Pemin's Aura and Freed from the Reel. A Sanctum Weaver and either of these blue untap auras nets you infinite mana. Pair them with one of the self-bouncing auras we discussed, Whip Silk or Shimmer Wings, and you've got infinite mana, infinite enchantment casts, and you've got infinite triggers. With your win con in the command zone on your commander, this is a tight little package that can pop off fast. If you want to upgrade this list, there are a few places I'd recommend. A Bloom Tender can supplement a Sanctum Weaver easily for some redundancy, but Bloom Tender is pretty expensive. I also left out Rhystic Study and Mystic Remora from the list. While these are great draw engines and they are enchantments, they aren't synergy pieces, and I'm generally in favor of value ceilings over value floors in most decks that aren't aiming at being high-powered. If you do want to make this a high-powered deck, these are great includes. And if you did want to convert this into a high-powered list, I've no doubt that you could. Add in some fast mana via Chrome Mox and Mana Crypt, and multiple tutors, and you could be stealing wins on turn 2 or 3 with this list. It can be kind of nutty. Take a look at the mid-power list, aimed at either getting some Death by 1,000 Cuts action going, or attacking to the face for lethal commander damage, linked in the description below. Let me know how you would build Tatsunari, and what you would include in a list that I may have missed. Remember to subscribe and hit that bell for more sweet brews every week. And, as always folks, good luck and have fun.